Page 76, Holy, Holy, Holy. 4/4 time, F major again. They sure like F major a lot in this book. All the B's are flatted. Let's talk about the right hand first. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. That B flat is tied. 4 and 1 and 2. So make sure you tie it in there. Next measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. They like syncopation, don't they? And that rhythm is all over the place. If you can get that, you got it pretty good. Pretty well. Pretty something. I don't know what it is. Page 77, second line, second measure. You're up here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the fingering is a little weird. People in this kind of thing will tend to do a 1/5 on everything. I'm going to encourage you to alter that a little bit and use a more advanced fingering if you would. And that is, you start with 1/5 and do a 1/5 again, and then a 1/4 and a 1/3. The melody is what I'm after. There. And anywhere else in this piece that this comes up, it's the same fingering. Then at the beginning of the third line, a 1/3. Well, there's other fingerings, but they're even more complicated than what I'm suggesting, so yeah. Third line, second measure, you're here. The lift up thumb, they don't have any phrasing, but it's the end of a phrase. You just lift up. There, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Try and bring out the E flat if you can. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Their fingering is fine. Last line on page 77. 1 and 2 and 3. Then in the last line, look out on this fingering. It's here. Then it's 1, 2, 4, and then 1, 3, 5. And then 1, 2, 4 again. See, this business on those, the F, B flat, D, those two chords of this fingering and this fingering, you need to be able to get where you can do that. So I recommend that fingering if you would. Then you can lift up and go on up again to do it again. Now on page 78, that's pretty much all it is, just a repetition of that. The rhythm's a little different, and the notes may vary a little bit, but for the most part, that's it. So it's like the second measure of the first line, it's here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. But the fingering is the same on these chords that I was pointing out, it's just the rhythm's a little different. Then in the second line, third measure, it's here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That's all it is. And the bottom, last line. Second measure, 1 and 2 and. Now here you're staying there. Don't because we're not going down, we're going up. And I recommend a 1, 3, 5 there, because you're going from here to here, and that works out. Now for the left hand, keep the left hand down. It's just supporting at the beginning, and then thumb on the next measure. That's the first measure, second line. And now fourth finger on these eighth notes, start it with fourth. And you're going to get this in several places. That A, fourth finger on it each time. And the third line down here, and it's little finger there. The rhythm is similar to the right hand on these syncopated parts, which may help out a little, maybe, I don't know. Over on page 77, third line down, third measure, the chorus with the F's. I recommend you'd use 1 and 2 and just alternate them, 1, 2. Anytime you get these, regardless of what the rhythm is, just alternate between 1 and 2. All the way through them. You'll notice on the third line down, when it starts the chorus, the left hand has all these F's. Well, at the bottom of page 76, the last two measures, you had C's. anytime you're getting these repeated notes in this piece, I recommend you simply alternate between thumb and index finger. Just alternate. And get to where you can do it pretty much automatically. Now whenever you get to page 78, second line, you're down here. And again, as far as I'm concerned, you're going to play the first one with little finger, but after that you can just use thumb and index finger for all of them, because you're staying down there. Then we put the hands together. Starts out right hand only. And then the left hand joins in. So, work out the whole piece real carefully. Dynamics and all that, I'll leave that up to you. That all the dynamics and everything in this book, as near as I can tell, are all suggestions anyway. So you can work it out. Learn the piece and then you'll feel the dynamics and when you should be getting louder and softer. Now, a couple of things I'll point out here. Throughout the book, you'll notice in a lot of these pieces above the upper staff throughout the piece, they give the chord name. Like let's go to the verse, second line, second measure there on page 76 where the verse starts. It has an F, that means F chord. And then you're going up to a B flat chord with a D on the bottom. And then an F chord with a C on the bottom. Well, these are for guitar players or somebody who wants to play along with you. If you have a guitar player handy, they can play along. And that would be great. Well, at the beginning of this piece, it has an NC there. You'll notice that? That stands for no chord. That means that if somebody is playing the guitar or whatever, they are to not play during that time. Don't play anything. So they don't play anything for the first two measures. It's just a right hand piano all by itself, and then they come in on the third measure. Now we're going to add the pedal to smooth this out a little bit, but again, we don't want to make it too blurry, and we're not pedaling everything. For instance, the first two measures, there's no pedal now. The pedal doesn't start until the third measure where it says with pedal. I'm going to use a legato pedal or a lag pedal. The notes go down first and then the pedal. So starting on the third measure, it's here. And then the pedal. I'm going to sort of follow the harmony. So the pedal is kind of weird here. So it's like this third measure here on the first line. The first two beats are fine. Then change it for here, and again here. Change right there. So each time, change when you're changing notes, is what I'm saying. And then in the second line, for the eighth notes, don't pedal those. And then the next measure, pedal the first two beats, and right after you play the eighth notes, lift it up. Don't pedal the eighth notes. Then you can put the pedal down after you play the dotted half note and hold it down. Again, the next measure, that's the first measure, the third line, you pedal the first two beats, but don't pedal the eighth notes. There, you can push it down right after you play that dotted half note. What we're doing is we're adding the overtones. Otherwise, we don't need it there either. But we'll add the overtones for more color. And then lift it up. So there's a little silence for go on, and I'm pedaling with the notes here, so the pedaling is syncopated too. At the bottom of the page, on page 76, lift up so there's silence before we go on, because it's the end of a phrase. Basically how I'm pedaling this throughout. Now when you get over to page 77, third line down, it's once each measure, unless it starts getting too blurry, and then I'm going to change it. So starting with the chorus, or the eighth notes leading into the chorus. Right there, I changed it with when I played that F, A, C chord in the right hand, I changed it right there. Again, And throughout page 78, it's the same kind of pedaling. So actually, the pedaling's not too bad. It's just it's a little syncopated in some places. I'm going to go through this slowly. Just play it, double check the notes and the rhythms, because I haven't really showed you slowly on the rhythms on everything, because it's very repetitive. This, once you get a few measures, you pretty much got the whole piece. So I'm going to give 4 counts. If you want to play along, go ahead. One hand at a time if you need to, or both hands together. I'll leave that up to you. Well, let's try it out. Now, I'm not going to repeat it. We're just going to play pages 76 and 77, then I'm going to stop, turn the page, and I'll count us in, and we'll do page 78. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 2, and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Turn the page. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2. 3 and 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3. Go on. 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, off.